to get up. Joining me now are Angela Rye and Margie O'Mara. Thank you both for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you, Reverend.
Angela, the president's trying to isolate Republican leaders and force a compromise. Tough strategy. How is this in-your-face approach working?
Well, Rev, I think that you can see the fruit of his labor. Right now, the president has held a very hard line to what he wanted to accomplish with the State of the Union address. He was very clear about immigration, about gun control, about what we need to do to rectify the state of the American economy. And therefore, he's telling the Republicans, look, I have the American people on my side. You can either get on board or you can go somewhere else. But I'm going to work very hard to ensure that these goals that I share with the American people are reached. If he continues to hold this line, Rev, I do think that we have a really strong chance of winning the 17 seats required to gain the House back in 2014.
Now, Margie, Angela used the term fruits of his labor. We have seen the tax bill as well as the Violence Against Women's Act actually get through. Is this strategy beginning to work where he's been able to get some Republicans by some assertive way to go with him and push things through?
Well, I think Obama's strategy, in addition to the election and the polls, have really now forced some Republicans to recognize that the American people are on the side of moving forward on a variety of issues, that partisan gridlock and Washington really coming to a halt is not furthering the goal of American people. That doesn't improve the economy. It doesn't help anybody struggling. It doesn't make businesses grow. It just makes people feel like Washington can't be trusted anymore, that it's not doing any good at all anymore. So what's always been true about the president, I think this is important to recognize, he's always been in favor of working toward helping the American people. That even if folks disagree with some of his strategies, you always got the sense that he was fighting for the American people, while you get the sense with Republicans that they're really more concerned about the politics, that they wanted to have a political fight because they thought that would help them electorally, and it turned out that didn't help them electorally. And maybe some are concerned about primary challenges, but really in the broad view, in the broad look at it, it's hurt them. This strategy has really hurt them electorally.
Now, Angela, the American people have clearly gotten behind the president, especially on big issues. Gun control, 92% support universal background checks. On fixing our deficits, 76% support a mix of spending cuts and tax increases. On immigration, 62% support a path to citizenship. I mean, ever since inauguration, the president has been taking his fight to the American people. These numbers show it's working, and he's been out there working his plan and policies to the American people. Listen to this.
What I can't do is force Congress to do the right thing. The American people may have the capacity to do that.
We can fix this, and we will. The American people demand it, and so does our democracy. I need you to keep up the fight. If you do, Congress will listen. If you stand up and speak out, Congress will listen.
So, Angela, is it this combination of rallying the American people that the poll numbers are showing has certainly helped, and this more assertive picking off some of these Republican leaders? Is this kind of strategy put together, the thing you're talking about, bearing fruit?
Yes, Rev, when you consider the fact that the president has taken an all-hands-on-deck approach, and he's saying, you know, if I can't get the Republican majority in the House on board, I can certainly get members of their districts on board because the American people at large support the president's agenda. Furthermore, when you look at what the House is actually voting on, all they can really reach agreement on are the naming of federal buildings and post offices. Well, that's not a high priority for the American people, okay? So the president is saying, we've got large issues to address. I certainly need everyone's help, and I'm going to continue to move forward with this agenda until we see some real movement here. So Republicans definitely have a choice, and I hope they make the right decision for the sake of the country.
Now, Margie, the Washington Post talks about how the president is already looking toward the next election, the midterm elections next year. Let me read a quote from the Washington Post. It says, Obama, fresh off his November re-election, began almost at once executing plans to win back the House in 2014, which he and his advisors believe will be crucial to the outcome of his second term and his legacy as president. You just heard a few moments ago Angela say that it's possible to win these 17 seats. Is the president moving forward in a way that he also has an eye on if he can recapture 17 seats and take the House? This could cement some of the things he wants for his legacy.
It absolutely should be a goal. It's absolutely something that everybody is focused on. I think it's also important because it shows that there will be consequences for members who don't vote in ways that their districts agree. I mean, that number you showed about background checks, 90% that support background checks, that's been true for a long time. And now you're going to have voters really thinking about that issue when they go vote in 2014 and think about which party and which candidate is really going to be fighting to make sure we don't have guns in dangerous hands, and which party it doesn't even want to have that conversation. And I think when you think of all of these issues, it's important to highlight in every contest which candidate is looking to come to the table and fight for the American people, and which party is just looking to say no to avoid a primary challenge.
Well, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you, Angela Rye and Margie O'Mara. Thanks to both of you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rev.
Ahead, we know the right-wing media is in the tank for the Republican Party, but now proof on live TV and 5 decades in the making. An apology brought civil rights hero John Lewis to tears. Stay with us.
Train sounding louder, ride on the peace train. Come on, the peace train.